We have multiple big 49ers updates now that the veterans are back in the building and training camp is underway. And this is huge. We're going to talk about some players to watch during the training camp period, the different situations that they're in, as well as a couple injury updates now that we have officially started 49ers training camp. And we're going to break that all down for you on this episode of Niners Digest. My name is Ethan Galbraith. Thank you again, as always, for watching. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. It's free to do so you don't miss any Niners updates, because we're going to give you everything we got, including what you need to know now that training camp has officially begun. I'm excited. I know a lot of other Niners fans are excited. The start of training camp is a big moment in the offseason. We're one step closer to regular season football, and for the Niners, they're going to have a very busy training camp period. Of course, the veterans are back in the building. At the time of this recording, it is now day 2 of training camp. Then they have joint practices with the Titans and the Chargers. Then it's preseason football, and then it's regular season kickoff, week 1 in Australia versus the Rams. But they have a lot to get to before that we get to regular season football, and there's a lot to keep track of, even though training camp just started. And we're going to talk about some players to watch, why these players are important to watch, as well as a couple major injury updates at the start of training camp. But before we get into all of that, I want to let you all know that this video is sponsored by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app. I'm going to talk about some promotions that you can get in on Prize Picks later in the video, but for now, I want to let you know that you can download Prize Picks using the link in the description and pinned comment, and you can use code DIGEST when you do it. New users will get $50 added instantly to their lineups when playing their first $5. Now, to the updates. I want to start with something much more serious, because this is a very serious update for the 49ers. The Niners put out a statement yesterday about head coach Kyle Shanahan being involved in a car accident, and he suffered non-life-threatening injuries, but injuries nonetheless. Now, I want to start with this because this is very serious. Obviously, I hope that everybody involved recovers well, but this is something to take note of when talking about the 49ers training camp. When your head coach is dealing with something this serious, this can have an effect on the team. Now, this just came out, obviously. So this and training camp just started. So obviously, I'm hoping Shanahan's recovery goes well and he's ready to go when he feels like he's ready to go. But this is something to keep track of during training camp, because this is still ongoing. Now, going to the updates on the players. Well, Nick Wagner put out a training camp preview article on ESPN a few days ago, and he highlighted some players, among other things, highlighted players to watch during this training camp period. And I think these are all 3 key players. He highlighted 3, and the first one should be no surprise. It's Christian McCaffrey. Now, the conversation around Christian McCaffrey and why he's a player to watch is not a question of if he can still perform at a high level. We all know he can still perform at a high level. The question is, can he stay healthy? And can the Niners help him out by lowering his usage rate? Of course, he had a great 2025 season, but they can't expect to have him do that again if they want him to stay healthy for this season. And Wagner talks about that. He writes, quote, "In 2025, McCaffrey earned NFL Comeback Player of the Year honors and finished second for the Offensive Player of the Year award. That came after a league-high 450 touches. It's clear from San Francisco's 40-16 record when McCaffrey plays that they need him available as much as possible, but they must strike the proper balance to keep him fresh in his age 30 season." So, this isn't a secret to Niners fans. Of course, there's been talks during the offseason about how important that running back 2 position is going to be in 2026 to help manage McCaffrey's usage. And I guess by association, that means 2 other players to watch are Kalen Black and Jordan James, 2 running backs that I believe are the front runners and competing for that running back 2 position, which is going to be a very interesting battle to watch during training camp and preseason play. So, I guess it's all 3 of those running backs are players to watch, but of course, you want to keep track of McCaffrey. He is arguably the most important player on the 49ers offense, even going into his age 30 season. So that's not changing. He's still important and is a player to watch. Another player that Wagner notes is 49ers defensive tackle Alfred Collins. Now, Collins is coming off of an offseason surgery to fix his shoulder, to help his shoulder recover. But he's still an important player. There's no secret here. His development on that defensive line is going to be crucial, along with fellow second-year defensive lineman CJ West. But in terms of Collins specifically, Wagner talks about, again, how his injury history kind of hindered his rookie season, but he showed flashes of greatness. Wagner writes, quote, His rookie season took some time to get going after he arrived with a calf injury, but the Niners were pleased with how Collins reshaped his body and improved as the campaign went along. He's coming back from off-season shoulder surgery, but if he can take another step forward, it would help solidify the defensive line. Think about how much change the Niners defensive line has gone through from the start of last season to where we are now. Nick Bosa and Mykel Williams are recovering from season-ending injuries. Mykel Williams and CJ West are looking to make another jump going into their second year. And the Niners brought in new talent. They drafted Romello Height this past April. They made a trade for Osa Odigizua. So there's a lot of moving parts still on the defensive line in the Niners' quest to improve it from 2025. And I think Collins will be a crucial part of that. As Wagner mentions, and how I said earlier, he is recovering from offseason surgery, and he is not ready just yet. These are 4 Niners players that started to start training camp are going on the PUP list. George Kittle with his Achilles injury, Isaac Guerendo, Mykel Williams, and Alfred Collins. But John Lynch did say that Collins is expected to be back in the second window of training camp, and then further states that the team hopes Williams will be ready for the start of the season. So while Collins isn't ready yet, his return is coming soon. So he will be a player to watch on the field in the very near future. And in terms of the third player, it should come as no surprise. It's Ricky Pearsall. Now, the conversation around Ricky Pearsall has been interesting because we all saw the flashes of greatness that he showed early in the 2025 season, and I believe he still has that. So I don't think the injuries for the second half of the 2025 season took that away from him, but the year 3 kind of seems like a prove-it year for him, and with all the changes in the wide receiver room, it kind of further emphasizes that. Wagner writes, quote, Pearsall looked ready to make a big leap last season, posting 20 catches for 327 yards before getting hurt in week 4. Ankle and knee issues persisted, and Pearsall wasn't able to recapture that early success. With Stribling, Evans, and Kirk around, there should be more opportunities for Pearsall to excel in a pivotal third season. So there's a lot to unpack there. Let's start with, as I mentioned earlier, he had a great start to 2025. 20 catches for 327 yards is nothing to just look past because he was hurt for much of the rest of the 2025 season. So he's shown that he can do it. Why the Niners drafted him as high as they did a couple seasons ago. So he obviously is still capable of that. Curious to see how he fits into an upgraded wide receiver room. As Wagner notes, they have a lot more talent in the building now at that position with Mike Evans, Christian Kirk. They drafted Dejon Stribling with their first pick in April in the 2026 draft. So Pearsall's a player to watch for 2 reasons. One, let's see what his production looks like, and you'll see the early glimpses of that in training camp. And 2, what does his role look like with a lot more talent in the wide receiver room? How many reps does he get? What position does he play in this upgraded wide receiver room? And the final update I want to give is a very big one. And it is that Fred Warner and Nick Bosa were officially cleared for the start of training camp. Now, this is arguably the most important update because when you think about what the Niners are going through right now with what's going on with Kyle Shanahan and a lot of other players on the PUP list not ready to start yet, having these 2 captains back to start is a big deal. And I think that this is going to be crucial to have these players out there to start. And I think these are 2 players to watch, not because there's questions about how well they can perform, but because they're such important players. So leave a comment down below about what player you're looking forward to watching the most during training camp and the rest of this offseason period. Is it one of these 3 that I mentioned, or is it a different player that I didn't mention? Let me know down in the comments. Before we go, I want to remind you all again that this video is brought to you by Prize Picks. As I mentioned, there's some promotions that you can get in on Prize Picks, including Flex Friday. It's back in full swing. You can boost your end of the week by using your Flex Friday payout boost to get a 40% higher payout every Friday. There's also Taco Tuesday. The tacos are going nowhere. Our board is serving up discounted projections on Tuesday all day long. Once again, you can download Prize Picks using the link in the description and pinned comment, and you can use code DIGEST when you do it. New users will get $50 added instantly to their lineups when playing their first $5. So that's all that we have for this episode of Niners Digest. Training camp is just beginning, so best believe we will have more updates for you as training camp continues. But for now, that's all that we got. Again, leave a comment down below about what player you're most looking forward to watching, or do you have a few? Let me know down in the comments. But for now, my name is Ethan Galbraith. Thank you again, as always, for watching, and we will see you in the next video.